Mark Wahlberg, actor, diehard Boston fan. His new film, Uncharted, hits theaters here in the United States this Friday, and he's acting with Tom Holland, who is on a roll here. And I'll let Mark tell you about the movie. Joins us now. Mark, how's morale going today?
What's up, buddy? I'm feeling pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. You're in New York, so you got out. You didn't even experience, well, you wouldn't have celebrated the Rams winning the championship, would you?
No, I'm happy I got friends that are on the team. I'm happy for Odell. I'm certainly happy for Aaron Donald and Sam. But, it's one of those things where I was kind of pulling for the small market team, but I really didn't have any stress. It was one of the more enjoyable games for me. When the Patriots aren't in it, when the Patriots are in it, I'm a crazy person. So for me, it was super relaxed. I didn't really, wasn't concerned one way or the other.
Did you go to the game?
I did. I went a couple hours early. I was doing some stuff to promote Uncharted. So I was there doing some press, had some meetings with a bunch of people. I jumped from box to box. Then I left after the first quarter. I got home in time to see the halftime show, which I thought was the greatest halftime show that I had ever seen. It was fantastic. And then I watched the rest of the game. But I watched at home. I had some friends over. My wife had a little Super Bowl party. It was very enjoyable.
What did that music mean to you growing up, the halftime show?
Oh, my gosh. Well, I remember the first time my brother Donnie and I were at Interscope Records, and Dr. Dre came in with The Chronic, and we were there, and I had already had my record deal, and they were talking about whether or not they were going to do a deal with Death Row. And we heard the record and just thought it was one of the best records we had ever heard. It's still one of the best records to this day. So that music is part of my childhood, but also to see Kendrick now, who's a new artist and so talented. I thought he was one of the best highlights. That, and of course, Mary J. Blige, who's my absolute favorite. Mary and I did shows back in 91 for like Hot 97 radio in Cancun, Mexico and stuff. So for her to still be killing it as hard as she is, it's absolutely amazing.
Who did you open up for? Like, that would surprise me.
Oh, we opened up. Wow, we opened up for a lot of people. I would say the big shows we were always doing were like the radio shows. So it was like us, Boys to Men, Mary J. Blige. It was a long list. Oh God, TLC. We were all kind of coming up at the same time. So, but I opened up for the new kids. I used to get in trouble because I would do things that were inappropriate for younger audience over in Europe, and I would always get an earful from my brother.
Wait, what were you doing? Is there nudity?
Pulling down my pants, cursing, that sort of thing. I think that was cool.
And those days are over, right?
Yeah, it depends. We're on the golf course with my buddy, but I'm still talking a lot of smack, for sure.
And I think the last time you rapped was when you were on our show 5 years ago.
Yes, with Ella.
Yeah.
The dad. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Ella's come a long way, by the way. She's super mature now, well-behaved. Thank God. Lots of prayers answered there.
Okay, but, you have that moment where it doesn't matter if you're famous or not. To them, you're like, you're an uncool dad. You embarrass me and you say stupid things. Like, but you got to fight through that. You got to hold on. You say to your wife, when does this end? Because it feels like it goes on a little too long.
Yeah, it doesn't really end. Although my sons now are becoming obsessed with golf. And now that we've got A, I could play, and B, we get to go play really cool golf courses, and they're seeing lots of cool golfers that are actually my friends that are professionals. So I got a little cool factor in the golf world with my sons.
I didn't know that you love to prank people so much. What's the best prank that you've pulled off?
It was probably on the Dan Patrick Show when I called Pete Berg and pretended to be a guy from Louisiana. And we were talking about the little altercation that happened on the plane, and Pete was trying to say that, that wasn't really how it happened. And then when he realized it was me, the look on his face was classic. I remember like it was yesterday. I was in New Orleans. I think I was shooting 2 guns with Denzel. I was in my hotel room. So I'm watching him live as I'm calling in. That was pretty good. That was up there.
But when you're acting with somebody like Denzel, do you ever catch yourself going, I'm acting with Denzel in the moment?
Well, it's happened a couple of times, whether it be with like Denzel, Jack Nicholson, Robert Duvall. But, they are such great mentors, and they really you could either be with somebody who's going to elevate your game and you realize that it's to your benefit to just kind of go there and just do your best, or you can kind of not rise to the occasion, but you're only as good as the guy next to you. And to work with guys that are that talented, I always get very excited about that. But they know how respectful I am and that I'm a student of the game. And but yeah, and then of course I'm also fearless in trying anything. So, those are some of the greatest experiences that I've had. And I carry those experiences on and try to share those experiences when working with young actors like Tom Holland.
Did you cry when Tom Brady announced he was retiring?
No, I was just happy for him. I was happy for me, he's done so much for New England. He's done so much for football, for us to win that many championships, 6 titles. It's a blessing. Whatever he wants to do, I'm more than supportive and just happy for him.
I was watching Perfect Storm. It was on last night, and there's the scene when you guys are drowning. Now, how do you act like you're drowning?
Well, it was pretty helpful in that we were in the tank at Warner Brothers. You got the wave machines going, the rain and all that stuff. And there are guys, because the shot of me, especially when they're fading away and I'm supposed to be in the middle of the ocean, the mark itself is so critical for focus that you have scuba guys under the water holding my feet to keep me in position, but they don't realize where the waves are in relation to where my head is. So they're holding me in that position. Then when the waves go up, I'm submerged and I'm like trying to get away and, swim away. That's your first instinct, right? It's to swim. But so it was pretty scary. That was a pretty sketchy time to shoot that because I didn't want to mess up a take. Wolfgang would not have been happy with me, our filmmaker.
But was there any thought of like the ending like that? We normally have Hollywood endings. I like when you have a real ending, an ending that makes you think. But, you and George Clooney die.
Yeah, it's a true story. Many a fisherman has gone out to provide us the simple pleasures of eating fish for dinner and not come back, especially in the Flemish Cap and places like that. So, those guys, that were on the Andrea Gale, they didn't come back.
You have this new movie with Tom Holland, and he's sort of the it guy right now. Can you give him advice on dealing with whatever it is that he's going to deal with? I mean, have you been in that moment, that level where it's like whatever you do, whoever you're dating, wherever you go, TMZ, they're all there waiting for you?
Yeah, things have changed quite a bit with social media since I was his age, but he's had a lot of success in a very short amount of time. But he's comes from a great family. He really has his head on right, and he's disciplined. He works hard. He knows that this kind of success in big IP like Spider-Man or even Uncharted is very different from you being above the title on your own, an original movie. So he's really out there trying to do great things in between that showcases talent and ability as an actor, and I think he's going to have a very long career.
Explain this movie and how it came up.
So this movie actually came up for me, 2009. I just finished The Fighter. David O. Russell and I attached ourselves to do Uncharted. I was playing the role of Nathan Drake. I have since now aged out to playing the role of Sully, the elder statesman. But, I embraced that. It was one of those things that when I did get the call, I was a bit surprised because I'm like, all right, we got Uncharted going again. I hope you're ready. I was like, absolutely, I'm ready. And I was like, who's the other guy? Because, before we had De Niro. So I was like, maybe we get De Niro back or maybe we get Jack Nicholson or, somebody great. And they were like, Tom Holland. I was like, what do you mean, Tom Holland? I had to put 2 and 2 together. And I just realized, oh, my God, you want me for the old guy. But then I realized the benefits of being in the helicopter barking orders as opposed to, having to be thrown out of a plane or hanging from a cable for 12 hours a day for 6 months. So I embraced it. And it's much better me kind of playing age-appropriate roles than imagine me trying to play the 25-year-old running around with a bad back and a bad knee. It wouldn't have looked good.
Is it tougher to add weight or lose weight?
Oh, it's much tougher to add weight. It's fun for a week. And then, I just put 30 pounds on for a role and I'm still feeling, it's just still bothering me. So I lost the weight since, but it just does a lot to your body, but nothing worse than being on a full stomach and then having to eat again. It's the worst.
Well, that's how you win Academy Awards, when you have the transformation, right? You either lose weight or gain weight.
Well, I think for me, if the role calls for it, I played a guy who was, started out as a boxer, and then he tried to become an actor. And then after that, he wanted to go into the priesthood after he had a terrible accident, had a visit from Mother Mary, went into the priesthood. Then he came down with a rare muscular degenerative disease, IBM, and his physicality basically deteriorated, but his spirituality soared. So he had put on a lot of weight, and what was once this kind of, really kind of fit guy, everything just kind of turned to mush. And so, I had to, portray that in an honest way.
Before we let you go, let's play the Mark Wahlberg bench contest. We did this with a lot of guys at the Super Bowl. 1 rep max. Fritzy, what are you going with Wahlberg here?
I'm going to go 315.
315. Seton?
Going 325.
Marvin?
I'm going to go 285.
285. Paulie?
3 even. 300.
300 for Wahlberg. I'm going to go 340 max, 1 rep. Mark, your answer is?
Dan, you're pretty spot on. 340, 345 has been my max. We were shooting Pain and Gain. We would go to the gym and we kind of do this lift off all the time. My buddy Ace, who's here, he would go cold turkey right to 315, and he would bet his paycheck every time, and he got squished. He got squished every single time. He never lifted it, but he never warmed up. I'd go, 135 for 10. I do 185 for 10. I do 225 for 10. Then I go 315, and then I go, 340, 345. But for that, I got labrum tears in both shoulders.
Hey, good luck with the movie. Great to talk to you again, as always. My best to the family.
Thank you, bud. I can't wait to come into the studio and see you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. That's Mark Wahlberg, actor. The new film hits theaters on Friday. That's Uncharted with Mr. Spider-Man, Tom Holland.